Hello everybody, my name is Jeff Heath. Welcome back to the Vintage Workshop. So, what you see before me is a rough casting of a 36-inch camelback straight edge, and a lot of you guys probably know what that is, and some of you may not, so I'm just going to cover it very briefly because this video is going to focus on getting this ready for scraping. In a few days here, I'm getting ready to leave on a nice vacation road trip down to Keith Rucker's shop down in Tifton, Georgia, and myself and a dozen other, well, including myself, a dozen YouTube creators are going to be having an introductory class to hand scraping, which is the art of basically scraping cast iron and for the purpose of getting level, flat surfaces, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's very involved. I'm barely touching on it, but this straight edge is a tool that I will be using in my shop for the purpose of getting restoration machines much more accurately aligned than I could just by, looking at it or milling it or even having it ground. So what we're going to be doing here is getting this straight edge ready for the road trip to go down with me, because this is going to be my project in the class. Richard King, who is very well renowned as the man for teaching scraping classes, is going to be teaching the class for us, and we're going to have a 5-day workshop basically setting us up with the introductory information that we need to know to come back to our shops and practice the skill at a much higher level. Personally, I have done some scraping in the past, all self-taught, basically by reading books and also by watching quite a few YouTube videos, and I've done well, but there's a lot more to learn, and the class is basically going to get me there. So without further ado, what we're going to do first is, as you see, I've got the bottom, which is the machine surface, all ready to go. This casting was purchased as a rough casting, as I had already stated, and about 5 years ago I went ahead and heat cycled it by heat treating it, and then I went ahead and machined it, and now since I'm getting ready to go ahead and finally get it scraped in, I'm going to go ahead and sandblast it, which is going to get all the rust off of it. The top part, which is not the machine surface, is the part that gets handled. That should be painted. So we're going to go ahead over to the sandblaster, get this all sandblasted and cleaned up, get all the rust off of it, and then we're going to go ahead and get it painted up and ready to go to the class with me. Alright, so this is my blast cabinet. This is where I clean up nasty, rusty parts after they've been through the parts washer. And it's got its own dust collector, so it kind of helps clean the particulate out of the air so we're not breathing all that crap in. It's not foolproof, not 100%, but still pretty good and a lot better than without it. If you don't have a dust collector, you can barely see what you're working on inside. So without further ado, let's get her moving. Alright, I'm all done over at the sandblaster. It's all nicely cleaned up and ready for paint. Normally I use Sherwin-Williams. It makes a product that's hammer tone paint, and as some of you already know, my favorite color to spray the machines and accessories that I'm working on is hammer tone copper. And I don't feel like breaking out the spray equipment today because I don't feel like cleaning it. The football game is going to be on in a little while. I want to get this done. But I'm going to go ahead and use Rust-Oleum's hammered copper, which is same basic color and no cleanup involved afterwards. So this is a small job. I'm not going to break out the spray can for spray equipment for that. So let's get her done. Get under first. And for those of you who think I'm spraying the straight edge, that's duct tape down there, 3 layers. That's what I was using to protect the machine surfaces from the sandblaster. Looks like metal, but it's not. Basically just trying to get a protective barrier coat on here, which from what I've been told and what I've learned protects the Camelback a little bit from thermal transfer of heat. Not entirely 100% sure on all that, but I'm listening to the experts and painting the Camelback. Pretty hard to mess up hammer tone paint because even when you lay it on heavy, the crinkle effect, which makes it look like it's been a hammered surface, even if it runs a little, it crinkles up and looks pretty cool. So it's very forgiving for machine spraying. And I like it, and that's really all that matters. All right, we've got it. Alright, we're going to let this dry, and I've made a little wooden box for transport to protect it, and we'll have more video coming up soon about the actual scraping in of the straight edge. Hello everybody, I just wanted to give you a quick update. It's day 4 on in the morning. It's about 7:30. Yep, just a little bit past 7:30, and we're getting back ready to start day 4 of a 5-day workshop on scraping, like I had told you earlier. Here at Keith Rucker's wonderful shop, and we're having a good time getting things scraped in. The classes pretty much consisted of the very first day getting an introductory into scraping, talking about all the things that are important about it, and day 1 involved learning how to use the hand scraper. And we all had our test pieces, which is basically just a nice plate of cast iron, and we learned how to take it from an unflat surface down to a flat surface, and we scraped these into between 20 and 25 points per inch. This particular one here is mine. I got this scraped to 23 points per inch before they told me, all right, it's time to move on. So we did that, and then day 2 involved learning how, once you learn how to do it by hand, then you move on to the power equipment, and that would involve the Biax. And this is the tool, the weapon of choice, so to speak, that we have all been using since to learn how to scrape in by first roughing and then point picking to get the same scrape surface nice and flat. Once we got our practice projects completed yesterday on day 3, everybody in the class, and there's 12 guys here taking this class, being held by Richard King, who, by the way, is a very knowledgeable, very helpful, fantastic teacher. I've learned so much about this subject. I've done a ton of reading and a lot of practicing on my own, but until taking this class, I really didn't know how much I didn't know, and this has been a really, really great class to take. So this here's my project that I brought along. It's a 36-inch Camelback straight edge. This is a solid piece of cast iron with a surface that is going to be used as a future reference for me for restoring other machines. So right now though, what I've got to do is I've got to get this flat enough to as many points per inch, and I'm shooting for 40, so that I can use this as a reference for restoration of other machines like the Bridgeport that will be coming up, and also being able to test and scrape in other machines as we go along with the projects in the Vintage Workshop. So where I'm at right now, come on in, James. Good morning. Where I'm at right now, good morning, is I've got this pretty much roughed in and finally into a flat situation. I started out with a casting that I had milled and then heat treated, and during the heat treating process it had moved a lot. It basically was out of flat by 5 thousandths, a little bit more than that after measuring it, and boy, let me tell you, you don't want to scrape apart that's that far out. But this was my project, this is what I brought along. My mill's 1,000 miles from here, so we went ahead and got after it yesterday, and let me tell you, bloody knuckles and all, we got it finally to a point where I've got blue dots all the way across, which is good, but now we're at a point where we really got to start dialing it in. So we'll be taking the Biax today, spending the rest of the day getting this down to where we have the correct number of points per inch of flatness, so that this can be verified by Richard, signed off on, and then I will have an excellent tool moving forward. Hey guys, here's a little insight into what goes into making all those great videos that you guys watch. So I'm just going to be quiet and let you guys watch.
All right, you ready now?
Oh, you can pull it.
Yeah. So,
hey everybody, Jay Kilroy in his shop. Very nice shop, by the way. I personally just throw a couch in this place and move in. Got my project here, been enjoying the class. I've got if you may remember this from a previous video, this is an angle plate that I machined in a previous video, 2 of them. This is the one I machined with the shaper, so I thought I would bring it here and use it as a project. And it has been a real challenge for several reasons. And we'll pull the camera in here in a little while and show you some close-ups, but the softness of the material is causing the power scraper to chatter real bad, and I get this really terrible surface finish, and it looks awful. And so I've had to resort to
the hand scraper,
the manual method. And that's a significant amount of work. And then yesterday, while measuring this surface here, we found about 5 thousandths, not tenths, 5 with the big T, right? 5 thousandths of a 5 thousandths low spot here along the top. So I've had to just beat this up with the scraper to try to pull this down. Now, to be honest, if you have 5 thousandths of difference, throw it back on the mill. You know, I mean, just save yourself your elbow, you know, your back, whatever. That's too much. That's just too much to be messing around with. Even with a power scraper, that's a lot of work. So what did we say? 4/10 per pass, maybe with a power scraper. So if you have 4 thou, you're looking at 10 passes with the power scraper, and that's going to take you half hour minimum, I think, you know, or longer, depending on the size. So yeah, this is, but it is a good learning experience. So I'm using my Frankenstein vise that I brought with me, and it's been kind of interesting seeing everybody's work holding setups here. They got some real.
There's some creative ones in there.
There's some creative work holding. Yeah, you ought to show some of the different fixtures and jigs that people have made out of just plywood or 2x4s.
Yeah, but it's work.
They work fine, you know. Just because you're working with metal doesn't mean everything has to be metal.
That's right.
Right, so anyway, I'm going to keep at it today. I can turn it around like this in the vise. And let the web stick down here in the vise. I can work this side. So this is the side we'll be working on this morning before we go on our little trip.
Yeah. Everybody's been mad at me because I haven't moved my milling machines in. And everybody's like, man, where's your milling machine? I just want to take a little bit off of this. I'm like, no, you're here to learn how to scrape, man. You got to do it the hard way.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, I taught said the next time they have any classes, the requirement ought to be that there's a planer and a mill and maybe a large grinder.
There you go. There you go.
So
yeah, maybe next time we have the class, I'll have all my stuff in here and running where we can use that. But
And two extra guys to take a scraping shift.
yeah, I'm gonna be like the blacksmith. I'm gonna bring a couple of hammer guys.
Yeah,
right?
You got some strikers.
So I'm gonna bring some strikers. I'm gonna bring some scrapers. Okay, you do this section. You do this section. I'm going to get some coffee.
Yeah, you're going to get you some apprentices when you get back home.
Exactly right. I need at least half a dozen. One that does laundry, preferably.
So if you haven't figured it out, Jay Kilroy here, he has a YouTube channel as well. And if you're not watching his channel, go check him out. What's the name of your channel?
Jay Kilroy.
Jay Kilroy.
Just if you search Kilroy on YouTube, I am the hit, right?
Yeah,
so
there you go. And Kilroy was here.
Kilroy was here.
Is here. Is here.
We'll be here through tomorrow. Good here all week.
Good to have you, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you some video of exactly what we're doing with the Biax, picking off those blue high spots in a never-ending effort to get this 36-inch straight edge flat.
I'll print them out on the night.
Yep. Never-ending effort.
It's okay. Straight edge.
Do that. Well, they might want their real initial in there, put them in there. Move it fast. Yeah. Just leave them there. I'll put them out. Whatever comes out good. Yeah. Big hole in the middle, we're going to skip that. So this is after 6 passes this morning, and I wanted to show you because we basically finally have gotten it down to where we just got a couple of shallow holes on the edges here. Maybe I'm hoping you can see them on the camera, and we're starting to pick up bearing points on the rest of it. So we're getting there. Still a lot of work to do. We're still in the roughing phase, but we're definitely finally, after a day and a quarter of scraping, getting down to where we almost have a flat surface. So we're going to keep at it. Okay, so after many passes, not exactly sure how many, probably in the neighborhood of a dozen. As you can see, we are getting there. Very close to finally getting down to the correct depth. I'm going to zoom in, and you can see that marker spot there is the last little edge that is still low from the original milling of this. So a little bit more work to go, and then finally we'll start being able to spot it in. So I just wanted to give you a show of that. So, final exam. That's what I'm taking home. And I gotta say, it just turned out great as far as I'm concerned. And it was a great class. You could probably hear it in my voice. I'm very tired, but definitely ready to go.